everybody. Welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Nick Kinzel.
And I'm Tom Hoblin.
And it was a very eventful weekend at Circuit of the Americas. A lot of people were blown away by the new short course, but we're going to get into all that. Let's start off with our diecast of the week. Tom, what you got for us today, bud?
All right, I got a little one. I picked it up at Target this week. It's the Kyle Busch Atlanta win from last year. Check every once in a while for restocks. Finally saw this one for the first time. So
Sweet.
got on my way home from work on Sunday before I'd seen the race at like 9 p.m. I stopped in, got a case of beer and a NASCAR diecast, wearing my Dale Earnhardt jacket. So
Hell yeah.
y'all knew what
There
my
you
plan
go.
was.
All right, Nick.
So I'm still sticking with the 164s here. So for this week for the 164s, we are going to Phoenix this weekend, and this scheme right here, the Clint Boyer 5-hour energy scheme. This one has a little bit of history over at Phoenix with Mr. Jeff Gordon. What was it, 2012, I believe, is when all of that went down. And it's crazy because Clint Boyer, he was like third in the championship standings at that point. He was only like 30 points out. But yeah, what Gordon did just absolutely killed it. But I always like the little 5-hour energy schemes that they used to do, especially with the chrome rims. So yeah, just cool little car.
Michael Waltrip Racing was a powerhouse before Spingate.
Yeah.
And
And
then they
jet
got
fuel.
fined into oblivion, and they were never seen again. So, yeah, no surprise that he was up there in the standings. But I mean, what an iconic NASCAR thing that still is on to this day with the memes of when
Oh
anytime
yeah.
there's a rule broken or something weird happens, they're like, and Jeff Gordon has been added to the chase. It's
Yeah.
every time. It's so funny.
Oh man, good times. All right, so we are going to Phoenix. So for my diecast of the week, it's got to be the king of Phoenix, Mr. Kevin Harvick. This was his last victory at the track, 2018 in the spring. That was 3 wins in a row. This was the week after he got penalized for his Vegas car because the rear window was bending in. So he had the greatest celebration when he got out of this car. He just tapped on the rear window and he was like, "Look at that! Look at that!" So that's probably one of my favorite Kevin Harvick memories right there.
Yeah, he was a force to be reckoned with always at Phoenix there. He was everybody it's like, is Harvick gonna show up or not? And most most often he did.
Yeah. Towards his later years, like kind of pretty much when they not even reconfigured, they just moved the start finish line. It just seemed like he did not have the same speed. But younger drivers coming in, you get a new car. Um, McQueen is
Stuart Haas
fading. That's all I
going,
got to say.
yeah, yeah. Stuart Haas Racing was maybe on its way down by that point already, so
Yeah.
can't blame too much of that on Kevin Harvick. But then again, Chase Briscoe did get a win there in
Yeah.
the next car, so not not out of the ordinary.
Yeah, definitely. Alrighty, guys. So top stories: Kyle Larson will be driving the Spire number '07 truck at Homestead and Bristol. So I guess you can already pencil in Kyle Larson to win this truck race at Homestead, Miami. I mean, that guy is just so damn good there. And then William Byron will be in it at Martinsville. So just more track time for these Hendrick guys. We're already seeing them run the 17 for a few races divided by the four of them, and now two of them will be running some truck races.
It's wild that Spire Motorsports can now run two Star Trucks.
Yeah.
They're like, we got the 7 and we need more, so here's an '07. Why not? We got money to burn.
When is the last time Kyle Larson ran a truck race? I remember all those years ago when they did Marcus Lemonis did that challenge where if anybody could beat Kyle Busch or something like that, he would pay out some money. And I think Larson did it at Homestead, and I think he beat Kyle Busch. I don't know if he won the race though. I don't know if that was his last one.
I thought he'd ran at least one last year.
He
Did he?
so his last race was the 2023 North Wilkesboro race, and he won it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's
That's right.
only he's only
That's
ran
right.
15 races in the truck series.
And how
Three
many wins?
3 wins and 11 top tens. So I'd say he's going to
Pretty
But
do
good.
pretty well for those two races.
yeah, Bristol and
Pretty
Homestead,
good.
no way.
Yeah. All right, and then some big news here. Catherine Legg, we see her over on the open wheel side. She ran Daytona in the ARCA series. She is going to be making her NASCAR Cup Series debut at Phoenix Raceway with Live Fast Motorsports. This is the first time that we'll be seeing a female in a Cup car since Danica Patrick in 2018. So, guys, this is really huge news. It's been over half a decade now of just men racing in the Cup Series, and it's good to see a little different change come in and have young fans look up to a woman in the sport.
It yes, I'm all for it, 100%, and don't take what I'm about to say next the wrong way. It's an odd choice for someone who has not only open wheel prowess, but she's also racing endurance races for the Iron Dame. So she's going to be a road course, more of a road course focused driver. She's coming into arguably the slowest car and its most inconsistent, and it's at Phoenix Raceway. Not that it's the most technical track, but there's just nowhere to go. It's a one groove racetrack. That's why it doesn't make sense to me. They could have put her in COTA and she probably would have finished top 25 for all we know. Like she could have done really well. They could have done this last week. It seems like an odd choice, but maybe it's setting up for more things. Maybe Live Fast. Maybe she's bringing the sponsor money, and Live Fast wants to run her a few times this year, and they just want to get her comfortable. I just and this is not because it's the car and the circumstance and the experience of the cup cars. I just don't want her to get discouraged because she got in the way too much at Phoenix.
Right.
So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on here.
Yeah, it's definitely good for the sport, but I have to agree with Tom. It's an interesting choice that this is the track we're gonna do it at. She's gonna be in for one hell of a weekend here.
Yeah, good luck to you. All right, guys. So let's get into Coda from this past weekend. They debuted the new short course. They added some laps to it as well. And from what I saw from the Xfinity Series race and the Cup Series race, phenomenal racing all around. Passing zones all over the track, hard fought battles. I was very impressed from this weekend.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you guys know me. I don't like road courses at all, and I used to not like Circuit of the Americas, but I enjoyed both of those races this weekend. I think that the shortening of the course, we didn't know what it was going to be like, but I thought it worked perfectly, and I thought it put on two great shows this weekend.
It was exceptional racing all weekend long, and it's just you add 20, 30 laps to these races, not only you get more opportunities for drivers to make mistakes, more chances for them to make up for those mistakes, more times coming around the track for the fans, and more times going through each of those passing zones. And that's really what creates a good race. So if you I love having road courses. I love the variety that we have on the schedule for differences in tracks and whatnot. But if there's ways to shorten other road courses more, still make them turn left and right, but just make them do it more. Get them uncomfortable, get them tired, because we saw one hell of a race all weekend.
Yeah, totally agree. Definitely has to go into the conversation of the best road course on the circuit now. And I know
Mm,
Watkins Glen
mm.
still puts on one amazing show, but guys, we just had battles all around this weekend, hard fought to the end. Saw what Christopher Bell had to do to get that win. Um,
And you just hope that they can come to a deal to extend this contract somehow because we hear reporting that this last one for now there's no contract to come back next year. You hopefully with the circumstances, it falls perfectly in the schedule. It's a warm weather track. This race was really good. The tires are really good, and you want them to come back. You really want this track to come back because I mean this is a premier facility in the world, and it means a lot that this series can run out there and put on a good show. That's really important for the brand of NASCAR.
yeah, I think if they just look at I mean, every single weekend we've gone there for the past few years, it has been a huge crowd. And there's just so much positivity about just going to that track and just the entire venue is just a huge positive. I mean, it's newer. It was built in like 2012. So it's very, very fan friendly, and a lot of fans showed up for these NASCAR races. So I think they really should re-sign this contract, because we're just going to see some of the best road course racing all around.
And it's an SMI date, so if they don't re-sign this, you assume they go back to Texas for this slot, Texas Motor Speedway. And
Ugh.
yeah,
Oh man, you just had to bring us down, didn't you?
well, it's a possibility. I gotta keep it real, right? I mean, it's a possibility. If they can't get a deal, or if COTA wants a ton more money for the lease, SMI is going to walk away. And unless NASCAR can come up with some sort of new contract, but NASCAR doesn't want to take away from their own tracks, so they're going to try to convince SMI to get rid. It's a messy, muddy situation. I just hope that everybody can come to an agreement. We see this for a long time.
Yeah, I hope so. All right, so let's get into this Xfinity Series race. William Byron won stage one. How about Harrison Burton winning stage two? We know he had to come back down into the Xfinity Series. He's running with AM Racing. They don't have the fastest race cars, but he stayed out during pit cycle and got some precious points.
Yeah, it
Harrison,
worked out.
yeah, worked out very well for Harry.
Because he finished 35th in the race, but he still got the 12 points to go with it and that stage win. So, and it just goes to show how important that those stage wins are.
And we know this is an opportunity for teams like this on a road course with the way the pit strategies work out. They know they can't go out and win the race, obviously finishing 35th, probably a 35th place car. But if they can go out and steal 10 playoff point or 10 points in a playoff point, go do it. Go get it done.
Yeah, totally.
Savvy strategy.
Yeah. And then Connor Zilic, man, he had one hell of a Saturday.
Ooh,
Wrecked quite a few cars, I gotta say. He had a penalty, but he overcame those and won at COTA. And I know one of the first things he said when he got out of the car was, "I'm sorry, to the guys, that I wrecked, that I messed with." But sometimes that's how you're gonna get wins. He's young, he's dumb. You're gonna make stupid mistakes like that.
he's only dumb if he doesn't learn from this. And they're going to give him the benefit of that for now. But if he continues to race like this, some of these guys aren't going to put up with it, and they're going to make his life a living hell, and he's going to earn a reputation, kind of like Hocevar's been getting. Hocevar's been kind of getting dragged through the mud here recently because he's got a reputation now that he doesn't race very clean. I mean, we see Zilich has a ton of raw talent, but he's really got to work on his racecraft, and he hasn't been in these cars that long. He's got to learn how they work in traffic and all that, but he's got to work on his racecraft. He can come out and say sorry, and that only works so many times before people start getting mad.
Right. Yeah. For me, hey, he's an 18-year-old kid. He's going to learn. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he didn't really even seem all that thrilled about winning the race. It was more or less he knew he screwed up with some of the moves that he made. And the first thing he said in this press conference was that he texted like every driver that he might have caused wrong, which was quite a few. But that's something to me that already separates him from a Carson Hocevar. Carson Hocevar is not going to do that. He's going to come up with excuses as to why he did what he did and why it wasn't that wrong what he did. But yeah, Connor's 18 years old. He's got a lot of learning left to do. Yeah, absolute raw talent. And I think if this was the old COTA layout, I don't think he comes back and wins that race from the back. I really don't. So with this new track layout, I think that played into his favor as well. More passing zones to get back up to the front. And the dude was just flying.
Yeah. He knows how to wheel it around the road course. That's for sure. Um, let's look at Xfinity Series points here, guys. So Connor Zilic is a new winner in the Xfinity Series. So just looking at driver standings, I don't know if you guys have playoff points yet, like the playoff positions.
Yeah,
But right now, Austin Hill, he's leading driver points right now. He's just been very consistent to start the year.
I mean RCR
Yeah, one,
maintained.
two.
They still were solid out there. this weekend, and it's a hell of a start to the season, and we've been saying this for a couple weeks now. It's a whole lot easier to start the season like this, like RCR has, than maybe some of the other cars down lower in the points. Got to kind of fight back. Starting on the top is a little bit easier. Solid runs again. We're gonna get into some more normal tracks now, so we'll see if they have the speed to keep it up.
Yeah. And Sheldon Creed and Sam Mayer, the two Haas factory cars, they're sitting third and fourth in the standings right now too. We know they lost the Stewart in their name, so they're just going with Haas factory now. And so far, so good for the first three races of the season for this team.
That I
Yeah.
mean, that's a you. They were always competitive in the Xfinity series with their one car and then their two cars, and so now that they can focus a lot more on this, and they only have the one Cup Series car that's kind of getting help from somebody else. I think that this is where the money's going to be made for that race team, and those guys are sitting right where they want to be at the beginning of the season for a new team.
hmm And then let's go down all the way to 29th. Our good buddy who's trying to win some races for Menards, Brandon Jones. He is just a wreck magnet. It is the same story, different year. This guy just loves to be involved in wrecks, and he's just making the fab shop workers' life a complete hell.
Can I point out
Yeah.
two spots ahead of him?
Yeah, Eric
Driver
Almirola.
with one
There's
start.
Yeah,
one race, and Eric Almirola is better in points than he is.
Ugh.
Absolutely.
yeah,
It's just
Again, coming to more normal tracks recently, but that's one of those ones where it's like, man, you got to start the season better than that. That's pitiful, pitiful in a Joe Gibbs car.
yeah,
this is the Brandon Jones we're all used to seeing. A lot of it is really not of his doing. He just happens to find himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. But with the way that he's running on the racetrack, he is running on the spots where stuff like this is going to happen. He has to run better, and it just hasn't happened. So I'm sure he's looking forward to getting back to kind of some more normal tracks. We're going to a track of Phoenix this weekend where Brandon Jones has won before, and so I'm sure he's excited to get back to some normal tracks.
But you get caught up in less bullshit if you're not
Yeah,
driving
that's just
through
it.
trying to
Yeah,
drive in
he's got
25th
to be
place.
better.
yeah,
If you're in fifth, you're not running the chance of getting caught up in somebody else's mess. So whether it's his fault or not, there's still a speed issue and a track position issue that should not be happening to any Joe Gibbs racing car, whether you're doing 5 starts or 30 starts.
Absolutely.
yeah.
Before we move on, just attaboy Jeb Burton still after 3 races sitting seventh in the standings right now. Pretty solid start to the year for him. Let's see how long it lasts.
Yeah,
And how about
definitely.
Carson Quaffle in this
Yeah,
road course race? I mean, more of a late model, short oval type of guy. You're not sure how that's going to translate to the road courses. But I mean, he was holding his own against the Rolex 20,
he
albeit a young Rolex 24 winner, but a
yeah,
Rolex 24 winner nonetheless.
he got the point for he laid down the fastest lap. He had the
Hmm.
fastest lap of the race. It's super impressive. Super heartbreaking to how his day ended because it was looking there for a little while like, oh man, he might get this done. How crazy would that have been? The short track prodigy Carson Quapple gets his first career win on a road course.
And same point to the 88. I mean, that car could have had the same fate with the way that fender
Yeah.
was looking at the end, and that's the other part of running over guys to get through the field is you damage your car and then you're going to work from behind.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so let's get into the Cup Series race. Tyler Reddick won the pole, and Bubba Wallace started second.
Mm,
Good start for
mm.
2311 Racing. We've been saying this for a while now. Bubba Wallace, he used to hate those road courses, but now he's one of those drivers to kind of look out for.
He's just got to string a race together and whatnot. I mean, he started off strong, but then he had the track limits penalty in stage one, and we kind of never saw him again. He was always kind of lurking up there, but um, he was never really all that much of a threat. I know he was up front the whole time, but I don't think we were ever worried about him coming up and challenging for anybody.
No, yeah, he
Mm,
wound up 20th on the day, so
Oof.
not the best after starting on the front row.
Yeah. Ross Chastain sent it into turn one. This is the guy that was criticizing and trying to give advice to
Oh,
Carson Hocevar the week before for how reckless he was running. And here comes Ross
mhm.
Chastain into turn one, and he takes out the 9 and then the 87 of Connor Zilic, who's making his Cup Series debut. He gets a bunch of damage from it as well. Sends both of those boys to the back. Got to work on a little bit of damage. But they still rebounded and had a great day. I think Chase Elliott, I think he got a top 5.
Top 5,
Yeah,
yeah.
finished fourth. Yeah,
Yeah, and then Connor Zilic, he looked good. It looked like he had a lot of speed going into this one,
Until.
but until
I mean,
it
Zilich
was
again,
all over.
Zilich showed us who he was on this track. The finish, yeah, he finished last. Uh, that sucks. That sucks so much. But he was passing cars. He went 36 to 14th on restart. Like he had the speed to hold his own, and that's the thing. You get into the series with these guys who run these cars every week. And it's your first time truly in one of them. That's impressive. And they were saying on the broadcast, we're going to see Zilich for a long time in the Cup Series, and he's just an Xfinity Series rookie. So I don't think he has to take any shame. I mean, you watch his in cart, you don't see that 99 car spinning across until the last possible second. There's not much he could have done there.
Yep, it's just the way it goes.
just
Man,
don't matter.
not a good outing for
Mm.
Daniel Suarez. Um,
It's just not a good track for him. It's really not a good
no,
track for him. He always qualifies up front, but he cannot finish these things. He's got a best finish of 24th here, I think, and it's just not his
But
day.
with your teammates now being Ross Chastain, who is a former winner at this track, and then Shane Van Gisbergen, who's supposed to be in this type of vehicle, a prodigy on these tracks, and then a literal prodigy in the 87. And those are your three teammates. You'd expect to see some more speed out of the 99, some more coaching, some more team dynamics, and that's just tough to see because we know he's only on a 1 year contract.
Yeah, this
And
is it.
to spin
He's
yourself
got
out, you needed to start strong because now they're going to go into contract negotiations, and he's sitting not great,
I'd
29th in
say
points.
Suarez, he's got to win multiple races this year if he wants to be considered
yeah.
back into that 99 next year because they're eyeballing Zilich. I mean, you just said it. The kid, he was
He's-
just flying through this field, trying to come from last into mid pack, up almost into the top 15. Um,
As long as win and you're in is in the NASCAR playoff system and championship system, I would take Zilich and SVG on my team over Daniel Suarez.
I mean, yeah, you got
Uh,
the
yeah,
opportunities on all the road courses that we run here. I really think that this is what they brought Shane Van Gisbergen into the Cup Series here to do is to win on these road courses and get that car into the playoffs.
they may
And I just
struggle on the ovals, but I mean, and yes, Suarez has won Sonoma. He dominated that race. Really impressive. But other than that, you don't see him out there dominating what SVG's out there running top 15 on the ovals from time to time. Like
yeah, it's just not
it's
even
just
that. Yeah, it's
yeah,
not dom. You don't
it's
know.
interesting.
He just doesn't run up front
Mhm.
at anywhere that we go to, and it sucks to see because Suarez was the guy that they brought in to start this project at his Trackhouse Racing, and to see how much has grown over the years, it's gonna suck to see. Like when it comes down to it, if Zilich is ready to go, um, they're gonna easily kick Daniel Suarez to the curb, and it just sucks to see. But the performance just has not been there. I
I've
mean, what
always
Ross Chastain went to the championship for what his second year with the team. Yeah,
mhm,
and yeah,
Suarez struggles to make the playoffs. I've
yeah.
yeah,
always been a Daniel Suarez fan. He's got a great personality.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
he's great for the sport, but at the end of the day, you got to get results because
right.
branding can only take you so far, and you got to bring in the results. And at this point, I mean, he was rushed in. If we remember, he was running Xfinity Series for Joe Gibbs Racing as their next person when Carl Edwards surprise retired, and then they're like, well, I guess we got to move Suarez up. There's nobody else, and now he's jumped around.
Yeah,
Um, and landed here at Trackhouse, and it was a really good opportunity for him. But I mean, it doesn't sound like him and Justin Marks see eye to eye, and his results aren't here right now in the beginning of the season when contract talks are going to be happening. So it's a tough
Yeah.
one. It's really tough, and I think Suarez still deserves to be in the series, but
Oh,
it's an interesting
absolutely.
point
What else?
where he lands.
Hmm.
The thing that might be saving him too, though, so I think he does need a win to stay with the team. Connor Zilch is only 18 years old. Are they really going to want to rush this kid up there? I if he if he doesn't, so he got the road course when he's going to the playoffs. But let's say he kind of struggles a little bit on some of these ovals. Do we want to rush him up to the Cup Series? I hope they don't rush him up. If he's not ready, don't do it. That's what I have to say because you don't want to bring him up there too early just to have him ride around and struggle. But if he's ready to go, like if he just
If he
absolutely
pulls a Ty
tears the
Gibbs,
yeah, if he absolutely sets the world on fire in Xfinity this year, then yes, I would say let's move him up. But I
But
think he needs to get better on the ovals.
Ty Gibbs has not truly panned out quite yet. I mean, Ty Gibbs still hasn't won. The last time we saw teenagers enter in the Cup Series and do really well was Joey Logano. He was winning races right off the bat, and Kyle Busch was winning races right off the bat. It's not an easy thing to do. Um, Zilich might be that generational talent that we've seen. It's probably time for one, but it's rare. It's very rare, and overall, I'd still think if Suarez can't produce, I think you got to try Zilich and coach him up and tell him to rein it in on the bumping and banging side. But he's fast, and Suarez hasn't been fast lately.
yeah, he has not. Let's get back into this race. Bubba Wallace won stage one, so yeah, he did not finish well, but he got a playoff point. He got 10 points. So these stages they come in clutch. Ryan Preece won stage two. Another guy you don't really see excel on the road courses, but he stayed out during the pit cycles and he claimed some points. So good
I
for
thought
him.
Again,
the pit cycles were really interesting because the leaders were still coming out top fives in the stages, which was really good for them. You kind of got to have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, no, that was nice. And then your boy Kyle Busch, man, he had a rocket all day. It was honestly just so refreshing to see Kyle Busch leading a race. And and it's not out of pure luck. It wasn't from a pit cycle or strategy or anything. It was just pure raw speed. Um, but that last damn caution, man, stacked him back up. And Christopher Bell, he just had the better car in that short run right there.
It was going to be such a compelling race without the caution to see the tire advantage to see if they could get reined back in. Um, and to no fault of Kyle, but they got off the truck. They didn't really like the car. They made some adjustments. I mean, this is a team, same crew chief, same crew that won twice with Tyler Reddick on road courses. This team is expected to go out there and do really good things on road courses, and it's been fun to see Kyle up front this season and running these races, top tens in all three. It's just solid weekends all around, and you can complain about the ending, it doesn't finish your way. You always hate to lead the most laps and not pull ahead at the end, but I mean, it was as a Kyle Busch fan.
yeah, it was really exciting. And what I loved the most about it, it was done cleanly. They bumped a little bit, but I think Christopher Bell might have learned his lesson from last year. But it was just fun to watch. He was we knew Christopher Bell was better, but he wasn't going to go out there and just dump the guy. He passed him cleanly, and he went on. He won the race, but that was just road course race. And again, this is coming from a guy who does not like road courses.
Yeah, and the Christopher Bell Kyle Busch story was really interesting, and I think Fox did a good job highlighting the the specific racetrack rivalry that they had here with Christopher Bell taking him out twice in 3 years, and obviously the talk that Kyle had with Christopher Bell. And you kind of saw it in that dive bomb into turn one where Christopher Bell bailed.
Yeah,
Um, I really thought Kyle was gonna be able to keep some distance there for a long time, but the car was not great on the long runs. And then once they made that side to side contact in the S's, Kyle kept saying on the radio something felt like it broke. Um, is really interesting. Max had fixed or seemed to have fixed their audio delay issues this week, which was cool. It was interesting to hear actually what Kyle said on the radio, and then a few minutes later, Mike Joy would be like, "Well, they said this on the radio, and it was completely wrong." Um, like they're like Kyle came over the radio and said it had something had gone away. They just didn't have it anymore. And it's like, no, he said when they made contact something broke.
Yeah.
And they did it a few times, and so that makes me wonder how often they come over the broadcast and they're like, well, so and so says on the radio this, and if you don't actually hear it yourself, whether they're paraphrasing or just making bad connections and whatnot. Just I go back to Atlanta, that first stage pit stop, and they're like, Kyle Busch had a bad pit stop, and let's see if he can recover. And that was not the story at all. Is that Kyle was complaining about the setup of the car, and they stayed a long time to mess with the shock setup on that thing. That takes a while, and it's not that he had a bad pit stop. They're trying to make the car better. Um, so it's interesting to see how the lens of the broadcast can shape the storylines how they want it.
Yeah. I'm with you. I love the in-car cam. We were running it when we were watching the race, flipping through a few different drivers. But yeah, I thought it was great, very informative to just get to know the ins and outs and what's going on with that specific car. All right, so congrats to Christopher Bell, two in a row. Let's look at
Yeah,
Cup
it's
Series
scary.
points.
That's
Yeah,
scary, man. He's got 2 wins, back to back wins. Yeah. Watch out for this 20 car
And
this year.
and where are we going? Where are we going next? Oh, we're
Yeah,
going to Phoenix where he won last spring, and then we're going
yeah.
then we're what, going to Vegas or Miami where Christopher Bell
Vegas,
is
I
gonna
think.
show up and
Yeah.
dominate? Like, is Christopher Bell gonna win 5 races in a row?
I mean, it's
It's not
very
out of the
possible.
I
question.
really would
It's
not be
so rare
surprised at
in
all.
NASCAR.
I really would not be surprised at all if this guy finishes the year in the range of 6 to 8 race wins. I mean, they're clicking on all cylinders. 3 races into the season, just just
Mhm.
wait till just wait. Watch out, 20 car. He's gonna be fast all year.
In the same vein of you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning, it's you can't win all year if you don't start early.
Just
So,
getting the
I
party
mean,
started early.
you're not gonna win 10 races if you wait 10 races to start winning. Uh, and are we gonna see another 10 race win season? I mean, he's 2 for 3 already on the season, and he's fast everywhere. So, it's really it's gonna be interesting and fun to watch. And I forget who picks last, we'll get onto that earlier, but I would imagine one of the 3 of us is gonna pick Christopher Bell this weekend.
Oh yeah. All right.
And
Well,
he's still 4th in points. How does that happen?
yeah. Well, 'cause
Remind me
we
that Daytona finish. Where did he finish
Yeah,
at in the 500?
can look it up. Let's see. Where is it? Those are the duels, race results. Who can find it first?
Yeah, he finished 31st in the 500, so that's why
There
he's
you
fourth
yeah.
in
go.
points.
Yeah, he's working from behind, but I mean, locked in the playoffs, he can just go for race wins and bonus points right now. It doesn't matter where the race finishes happen now,
Right.
and don't get suspended.
William Byron, he's been super consistent. He's leading the way
Mhm.
in the driver points right now with Ryan Blaney just 2 points behind him. Tyler Reddick 5 points behind first place. And then a little separation there. Christopher Bell in fourth, 21 points behind. That bad finish at Daytona hurt a little bit. But I mean, the guy's got 2 wins already. He's stacked up with some playoff points right now.
He's already got 10.
Yeah. So that's pretty sweet. Michael McDowell having a great start to the season with his new team. He's sitting eighth right now in that 71 car.
Quiet. You don't
Yeah,
really
very
see
quiet.
them throughout the race, but I mean, it's kind of how you expect Michael McDowell to be. He's KG veteran. He'll show up when the pay window opens.
Yeah, quietly consistent. Kyle Larson not having a good start to this season. He's sitting 16th in points, 45 points back. That tire falling off his car
Mm.
during COTA, that killed him right there. He's going to be losing 2 crew members, I believe. They haven't fully announced, but they did say they'll be grabbing some guys over from Justin Haley's crew.
Yeah, and that pit stop was already wonky, and they were focused on the wrong side of the car. It seemed because they highlighted that they were like, "Oh, a slow pit stop." They couldn't get the front left tight, and then the front right came off. So just a mess of a pit stop. It reminds me of the pit stop last year where they forgot to change the tires, which was just a
Yeah.
wild thing to witness. Let alone from any NASCAR team, let alone a Hendrick Motorsports and a
Right.
Cliff Daniels led team. You forget to change the tires. What are you nuts?
Yeah.
So that
Well,
was just a mess of a thing for
little
sure.
update. Chase Briscoe is up to negative 28 points now, so we're getting
Mm.
closer to getting back to zero here and going onwards. He's 99 points out of the playoffs right now, so still got some work to
See,
do. But good for Chase Briscoe. He's going to a very good racetrack this weekend.
Yeah.
we we said that was a two-race deficit being -68 after Daytona, and he's still not out of the red
Nope.
after 2 races. So that's a two-race deficit if things go very well.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. Have they officially appealed yet? I think they're probably doing their appeal this week. So
Yeah.
we'll find out more at that. But it's just it's tough. It's a tough hole to start digging yourself out of.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that sucks with his new team. He's going to be losing his crew chief. He still has him. We'll see if maybe they'll be able to work together at Phoenix this weekend.
But hey, what do we talk about when that penalty first came out? What's going to make things go better? How are you gonna get back in this? Just go out and win. And he's in a JGR Toyota that is going to be able to go out and win races. So I
But
still look.
it's a JGR Toyota that has not won recently.
Yeah, this is
So that's
also
something
true.
to think about too.
Hmm.
Maybe a new driver will help that out, but I don't know. I think after 3 more weeks, we're gonna see this point standings kinda balance itself out and
Yeah,
whatnot.
that's what it usually takes. It's
Yeah.
usually you really
Mhm.
you know who the players are really after the first 6 or 7 races, you'll start to get an idea of who your true players are.
Yeah.
Right, but Phoenix and Vegas and Homestead will really kinda balance everything out and tell us what we're looking at, truly. I'll be curious to see where the 8 of all people he's sitting ninth in points, he's had 3 really good weeks, but will these tracks be conducive to what RCR can do?
Yeah.
And that's just a waiting game.
We'll see. So far, so good with that A car. A lot of speed
Mhm.
shown so far. AJ Allmendinger, disappointing performance this weekend, 30th. That
Something happened to him. He was 4th there for a while. I think they just put some really bad tires on it.
Yeah.
But still, to have bad tires and go from 4th to 30th in a span of like 8 or 9 laps, something was really off there. And it's crazy to see. This is a track I'm sure that they had circled
Mhm.
for Allmendinger. He's
Did
run very well here before. So
did he get spun at all?
I
Did
see
he get
that's what I was
anything
I
looking
didn't
happen?
for.
see anything about that.
I really
But
just think it
I
was the
haven't seen
tire.
anything like that. But yeah, we heard Shane Van Gisbergen complain about a set of tires. We heard AJ complain, obviously. Uh, odd, odd for sure. Um, so an SVG again. This is why SVG's here, and this is why Allmendinger's here is to show up at road courses like this and win and get their team in the playoffs. That's their whole model. If it doesn't work, then the season was lost. And you talk, oh, they have 5 chances to do it. Well, now you lost one. Now you have 4 chances, and that's not great.
Yeah, not great. Sitting 25th in points right now, and then one spot below him, Brad Keselowski. Just a lousy start to the 2025 season for that six car.
Mm,
We saw a lot of promising speed out of him last year. I know the first two races were super speedways. You can get caught up and stuff, and then road courses. Brad really has not seen victory lane on a road course since the Car of Tomorrow days. But regardless, not where Brad Keselowski saw himself starting this season, all the way down in 26th.
no, I mean the Daytona 500. You assume you're going to get wrecked. The Atlanta was not great, and then to come to third race in that deep of a hole, going to a track that or a type of track that you're not used to being at. Not good for you. I'm looking back at his Allmendinger's in car right now. He started the final restart fourth.
That's what I was
Yeah,
saying. You went from
So
fourth to
yeah,
30th in the span of what, like 10
yeah.
laps or
I
something?
don't
What was
know.
that final? Yeah, it was not
It,
good.
I'm trying to see where it
yeah.
all goes wrong, but he's just
You want to
struggling to
talk
get off
about
corners.
you want to talk about a guy who's really struggling to start this season off. How about you scroll all the way down to 35th in points? That's where you'll find car number 54 of Ty Gibbs.
Mm.
What a shame.
Woof.
Playing monster trucks again this week, lap one. So took out his teammate.
Yep.
Again, this is the third season is when you see these guys start winning. Chase Elliott got his first win in his third season. Um,
Ryan
Harrison Burton
Blaney.
got his first win. Ryan Blaney first win in the third season. We need Ty Gibbs to win 2 races this year. We do. I don't know if there's any more deserving drivers. Maybe Corey Heim needs to go in this car, but I don't know. It's interesting, and maybe he will. Maybe this will be a hilarious conversation to look back
Just
on.
so- yeah, I
Yeah.
think it will be. It's just such a wonky start to the season, going to two drafting tracks and then a road course. Your first three races of the season. It's really going to shake things up. So I'm very happy that we're starting to get back to some of our normal, traditional kind of tracks.
Mhm.
Because this is when you're going to see who the true players really are.
Even if it is Phoenix.
Yeah, even if it is Phoenix, we got one dud here, but then going to Vegas, going to Miami, those I'll very much be looking forward to those.
Yeah.
6 to go, 5 to go. Allmendinger's still 6th place.
Yeah, I just don't know what happened to that car. They never said what happened to that car.
Yeah.
All I got was from the COG Twitter account that really bad tires. But how can the tires
Mm.
be that bad to go from fourth to 30th in just a handful of laps? It's just absurd.
They must have
He's
been
just
some
getting
super scuffs or something, man.
he's just getting eaten up. There's nothing. He's just no grip. It looks like he's not sideways at any of these. Yeah, he just fades
He
really
Um,
had those
badly.
he had those Morgan Shepherd, Mike Harmon tires on, is what he had. Or their one
Ugh,
set that they run for the entire weekend.
oh
that's
man.
wild. That's insane.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
How about Austin Cindric? What do you guys? We're recording this before the penalty report. Um, I personally think that should be a suspension.
Yeah.
I mean,
It,
I don't think NASCAR can be in the business of saying like, well, it was at a road course and now that suspensions mean more because it affects the playoff points so much. Like, no, if you right hook somebody in retaliation, that should not be okay anywhere. I don't care how fast you're going. I don't care where on the racetrack you are. It's a terrible look. It's early in the race. You'll get him back. It's Ty Dillon. Like, I know you're frustrated from the weekend, but you're gonna pass that car. You can't be doing that.
yeah, I know
It's
it's
just
almost it
awful.
was clear as day, and it just has all the qualifications of something that looks like should warrant a suspension. Will they do it? I doubt it, but at least a points fine. Do something because you can't just get away with that.
No.
yeah. Just ridiculous. It ruined who's that? Zane Smith's day as well.
Mm.
Um, just can't be wrecking people just because they door you. You're mad at them. So yeah, I totally agree. I think Austin Cindric, I think he should get a one race penalty for this. Can't be doing that shit. If make it look like an accident, get behind him and hit him in the bumper, because then you're not gonna get penalized.
Yeah, you're going into turn 1, just ship him.
Yeah, I don't get
Just
it.
ship him. Get behind him and shove him up the track in turn 1. It's awful.
hmm But speaking of Austin Cindric, I don't know if you guys saw it, but they gave him his throwback scheme. Probably can't even see that, but
Nah.
but it's a Dale Earnhardt throwback to his two Wrangler car. It looks really good, so maybe we'll see if he'll be able to drive it this weekend.
Woof. Yeah, that's a bad look.
Yep, not good at all. I was actually starting to gain like a lot of respect for this guy, but can't be doing shit like that, man.
And he's been in the series for a bit too. It's not like he's new.
Yeah,
He's been around these guys. He should know better.
exactly, man.
He's usually been cool-headed and a fun fun guy to follow.
Yeah, he's never
It's
really
very out
stirred
of
up any
character for
shit.
him.
Yeah.
Very out of character.
Yeah, and I would have maybe we probably have seen this when in his Xfinity days in the 22 when he was running for wins every single week, but now that he's gotten more humbled, he's trying to fight to get into the top 10 now. But doing stuff like that, man, it just kind of resets everyone's thoughts about you.
Hmm. Do you guys have thoughts on the track limits things before we finish off this one?
I thought it was so goofy. They didn't know if they were policing in certain turns, if you could go over the rumble strips.
Hmm.
And they said they were, then they said they weren't. And all the drivers were confused. I thought it was just an entire mess. Obviously, they didn't state what they were doing in the drivers meeting. So they
I bet
just
they
got to be more
did.
on top of that.
I bet they did, and it just drivers thought that six was part of the S's,
Yeah,
and
just for
and
me,
it
it's
was just a bad thing. But I mean, it's good. It was consistent the whole race. It's not like they weren't calling it. Maybe guys thought they couldn't go there, but by the end of it, everybody's cutting that corner off. The grass, where the grass came back in, it kind of kept you on the track. And so I didn't really have an issue with it. I mean, Kyle was following Shane through there, and they're like, "Are they?" One of the cautions, he's like, "Are they getting the 88 for at all for that?" And then they weren't sure, and they're like, Kyle, don't go over there because as soon as you do it, they'll penalize you."
I,
Knowing our luck, so that
Yeah.
was a funny comment. But I mean, they came across, and it got out to every driver eventually. They're like, yeah, they're only doing three, four, five. Six is fair game. Do what you want. So it was
there seemed to be
consistent.
there seemed to be some confusion. Some of them didn't know. Like I think it was Larson who was asking if this is cutting the limits, and his spotter said it shouldn't be, but this NASCAR official standing right next to me is telling me that it is. So
Oh,
there's a little bit of confusion. So yeah. Other than that, it didn't seem to be too much of an issue.
it's the one road course a year we have track limits. Shouldn't be a problem again. Um, I'm I'm not too bothered by it, and I also thought the penalty was a whole lot better. Um, Getting halfway around the lap and then taking the Joker lap, the stop and go. I think that was a really good fix to losing basically all of your track position, especially when they shorten the course.
Yeah, I thought that was a great idea. All right, guys. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will be making our picks for Phoenix Raceway. So stay tuned. All right, guys, welcome back. We are here to make our picks for Phoenix Raceway this weekend. No Truck Series once again this weekend, but we got the Xfinity Series and the Cup Series both running. For the Xfinity Series, we have the Gov X 200, 200 laps, 200 miles. Stages 1 and 2 are 45 laps each, and the final is 110 laps. Last year's winners, we had Chandler Smith in the spring. He is now back in the Truck Series, and Riley Herbst won it in the fall, and he is now in the Cup Series. So these drivers will not be a threat this weekend. But some drivers that will be a threat, Alex Bowman's coming down, going to be driving that 17 for Hendrick Motorsports, and Eric Almirola is back in that 19 for Joe Gibbs Racing. One thing to keep in mind, you guys, Ford and Toyota dominate this track with 17 wins apiece across the spring and fall race. So that is just something to keep in mind here. All right, so let's make our picks. Tom, I know you are first in the order. Who you going with on Saturday?
I know you say Chevy or Toyota, Ford are good. but I know someone who's good here too. He used to drive that 88 car in the Cup Series and perform really well here. This is probably the first track he mastered. And so he's coming back down in a Hendrick car, the driver, Alex Bowman.
Would
He'll
be
get it done.
huge. I mean, that's his
He'll-
home track
yeah.
right there.
Alex Bowman has been coming back from his injury. He's building confidence again, and I think this would send it just over the top. Um, get up some confidence, get some lap time, and the cream rise to the top at these so-called cookie cutter tracks. So Alex
Yeah.
Bowman, why not? He's going to be up there contending for sure.
Oh yeah,
Probably can get the win.
that 17 car is too good. All right, so I gotta go with another star that is gonna be running down in this series. I'm going with that 19 of Eric Almirola. I mean, he ran more than a dozen races last year, and he looked so damn good in every single one of them. You would be wrong not to go with a Joe Gibbs Toyota this weekend. Maybe don't go for Brandon Jones. I mean, he has won here before, but right now we're seeing his track record where he is in points. I don't know if that would be the safest choice, so I'm gonna go with the 19.
You say it's not the safest choice.
Oh
I'm here to
no!
tell you that you are wrong. I'm looking at the numbers of Brandon Jones when he was in a Gibbs car here at Phoenix. This dude is complete. This is one of his best tracks. He has completed 99% of the laps here. He's got the win back in 2020 when he drove for Joe Gibbs Racing. And I just feel like you're always due for a Brandon Jones random win every now and then, but it's just been such an abysmal start to the season. So it just makes all the sense in the world that Brandon Jones is going to go up here and he's going to beat Eric Almirola and he's going to beat Alex Bowman and he's going to put that 20 car in victory lane and then he can wreck for the next 20 straight weeks if he wants to because it won't matter. He'll be in the playoffs. So yeah, I am going to take Brandon Jones to win this race at Phoenix.
Wow. Uh, oh, yeah.
Knocker.
Good luck with that.
Yeah,
Have
Wow.
fun.
Holy shit.
I, listen. Nick got both the best finishes, including a win last week. I think he's hedging his bets. He's hedging his. I mean, Nick, you jumped up 55 points last week, so this. I guess
I'm due for
we're
I'm
early in the season. You could take some risk, but this
Yeah.
is
I'm due I'm due for
interesting.
a bad one. I'm due for a
I'm
bad one, but it's just gonna make me look like a genius when this pays
Yeah,
out
when it
for me.
pays out, Jesus Christ. I mean, I'll take a second place finish now for sure. I'll be happy with the second.
Get
And
risky with it. Why
yeah,
not?
why not? Yeah, have
Yeah.
some fun with it. When you're leading, you can.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into our Cup Series picks. I was first in the rotation here. I gotta go with a Hendrick Motorsports car. I gotta go with Kyle Larson. He won here a few years ago when he won the championship. Always good for a Hendrick win here. So yeah, give me number 5 in victory lane. First one of the season for him. He had a rough go of it at COTA, and he's looking to rebound.
It's more of the normal tracks. Kyle Larson has won here at Phoenix before to win championships. Why not?
Yep.
We can see how it happens. Everybody's talking about how Penske Racing is going to dominate here in the Cup Series, but they do that in the fall. They're
Yeah,
not concerned. We usually don't see them show. I mean, Ford didn't win a race for the first half of the season last year, so um, in my opinion, it could be more of the same there.
Yeah. Totally agree. Tom.
For my pick, I'm gonna ride the wave. Wearing the DeWalt hat. Got this cool DeWalt thing in the mail this week. I won an auction. Let's ride the wave. Let's ride DeWalt. Let's ride Christopher Bell. Until he doesn't win, I'll pick him. Why not?
yeah.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, we said it earlier in the show. I think Nick, you said it. This guy could win 6, 7, 8 races this year.
I I really could see it. I really think this is going to be the breakout year for Christopher Bell. If he's already got two of them, three races in, oh boy, look out!
Yeah, he won here last year too, so keep an eye out.
I mean, you could argue that he's already broken out. I mean, he's a
Yeah,
perennial threat to be in the championship for every year, which is frankly as hard as winning the championship is just getting to that championship race. And so if he's in it every year, every other year, I mean, this guy's a threat to win 4, 5, 6 times a year. He's just starting early.
Yeah. All right. Well, Nick, you are last in rotation because you swept the weekend, dude. You did so great. So who is your winner on Sunday?
So I'm going back looking at the stats here. We've ran 6 races here at Phoenix in this next gen car, and there is only one driver who has a top 5 finish in all 6 Phoenix races in the next gen, and that is the 12 car of Ryan Blaney. He's led the second most laps here, only shy of his Penske teammate Joey Logano, and he has scored the most points here and the 6 next gen races run at this track. He's got an average finish of 2.8 here in the next gen car. So yeah, 12 car Ryan Blaney. He is going to go to victory lane, and he's just one of the best cars here. So yeah, I look for him to get his 7th top 5 here, and that one will be a checker flag.
Great, great pick. Great pick. He's so consistent here. He knows how to get it done. If he's not first, he's second. And that's impressive. It's really good.
Yeah, no doubt. I think we all got some great picks for this weekend. Any one of these guys can go to victory lane. Um,
I do want to make a note that for all of us, shout out to all of us for this our picks last week. If say I know betting culture is big. I'm not into betting culture. I don't know how you guys feel about it. But last week we picked every driver we picked said could win the race, finish in the top 10 for all 6 of our picks. So do with that as you will. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money, but
you want to make
we
some
try to
cheddar cheese?
yeah, we try to keep it real here. I mean, we're maybe not with Brandon Jones. That might be a little bit of a shit pick, but not a shit post, but a shit pick in the same vein. But I get
I
maybe
can't.
you're looking at stats, man. You're now that we've attached points to this, we're going all out. So um I don't even hate the Brandon Jones pick, to be quite honest. I mean, that Joe Gibbs car should be competitive.
It should be. He should
Should
run
be
well.
should be
He
running top
should
10,
be.
and he's won there before. And if you can if you got a top 10 car, you should be able to
He
win the race.
beat fucking
So
Kyle Busch in
Yeah,
2020. He
yeah,
beat Kyle Busch for that win.
yeah.
He should run
So
well, but I
he's
don't
either
know.
gonna win or he's gonna wreck. That's how it's gonna
mhm.
go
Oh,
for him this
oh,
weekend.
yeah, there is no in between for him. He's gonna be checkers or wreckers this weekend.
I mean, our stats on these super speedways were a little bit more spread out, but last week at COTA, we were on it. The worst finishing car we picked was my pick of Ross Chastain, who finished 8th in the Xfinity race. That's
Wow,
excellent.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Excellent. So, yeah. Good job. Good job, boys. Good job
Yeah,
picking.
good job, us. Shows that we know a thing or two about the sport. But guys, I think that will wrap up things for us here at the Stock Car Spectacle. If you haven't yet, make sure to like our video, subscribe to our channel, check out all of our links down below. Make sure to share this with all your friends. So that'll do it for us for the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Nick Kinsel.
I'm Tom Hoblin.
We'll see you guys next time. Enjoy Phoenix. Because I know we fucking won't.
Yeah, right.
Ah.